Hey guys, welcome back to this amazing channel. I am Gillianberry, and today we have an epic, incredible return guest for you guys. We have Shane Sterling from Raw Vegan Rising. He is 6 years raw vegan and really a great man at speaking, so much wisdom, so much depth, and we always get so much from his videos. So this is going to be a really good one, you guys. I have reached out to you guys for your questions. We have so many incredible questions, and nothing is off limits. So this will be good. Stick around to the end, and let's get right into it. Hey Shane, how's it going?
Hi, Gillian. Thank you so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
And it's my highest aspiration today to provide value to the listeners and inspiration. So I hope this is valuable.
Okay, this is gonna be so good. So the first question, we'll just hop right into the questions. Everybody, most people know you. 6 years raw. I mean, going raw has totally transformed your life, right?
Yes, absolutely. Best thing I ever did, without question. It set me on my path of purpose and mission and reason. I have become a coach. I have a huge membership with lots of clients. I make a difference for people every day of my life. It gives me a reason and a will to live. And it gives everybody a reason and a will to live because raw food is just so connecting and invigorating and enlivening. So, and we both have our green juices here too, Jillian.
Yeah, we do. Cheers. Lemon ginger blast. My current favorite. I drink this every single day now. It really just makes you feel so freaking good inside.
It does. Yeah, I have one every day.
Yeah. Okay. So the first question, this one is, would love to know if he uses hair dye, and if not, any tips and suggestions to prevent and or restore premature gray hair. Because you're turning 51, right? In a couple months. So what's
Yeah.
the deal here? Do you dye your hair honestly or no?
Honestly, absolutely, I do not. No hair dye whatsoever. I've never dyed my hair since I was a teenager in the 80s and I was doing like wild 80s hair. But no, I do not dye my hair. Completely natural. I have no gray hair on my head. I do have some in my beard,
Yeah.
but I am 50 years old. And the key here is mineral and nutrient density. I mean, I've been whole food plant-based since I was 17 years old, with just a few years where I really kind of like gave up on being vegan, and which was the best thing that ever happened to me because my time being omnivore showed me how important it is to be vegan. And so I've always come back to vegan, but not just any old vegan, whole food, plant-based vegan, which has led me to raw food. Because if we're talking about whole plant-based, it leads us to raw naturally. So the great blessing of being 50 years old is that I went vegan at a time in the early 90s. It was actually 1990, where there was no junk food. There was no vegan cheese, no vegan burgers, nothing except whole food. So if I wanted to be vegan, I had to eat, I don't know, eat potatoes and squash and whole foods. And little by little, I learned about juicing. I started juicing when I was 18 years old, right
Wow.
here. Key to not being gray, key to staying young and vital is the nutrient density. Okay. So the minerals, the vital nutrients, the enzymes help everything work better. So I don't know exactly which one component keeps the gray away, but it's probably a combination of all of them, including enzymes, because we can't underestimate enzymes. Like you put an acorn in the ground, it grows into a mighty oak tree. That's all because of enzymes. If you cook an acorn and then put it in the ground, it rots.
Hmm.
There's no denying that enzymes are the key to every metabolic function in our body. So when we flood our body with fresh, nutrient-dense foods filled with enzymes every single day, it's going to ensure that our body can then reproduce the hair follicles and the pigments and everything else. So our skin's not going to get as wrinkly, our energy and vitality is high, our body composition's optimal, we're not going to get gray hair.
Yeah. And you
So
feel like your best self, right? That's how I feel like my best self when I have these. They just are, there's nothing on the planet that compares.
yeah, absolutely. Highly recommend a diet of fresh, raw fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds for proteins and fats, focusing on nutrient density like greens, power greens, high protein greens, juice your greens, and get in the ginger and the turmeric in this one. That's so good. So good.
Yeah. And if you did get gray hair, would you dye your hair? Do you think? Like if you turned
No,
completely gray? No.
no, I'm not going to ever diet. No.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in hiding. Actually, I think it's a great benefit to just reveal my full process to people. Raw vegan 6 years, and I'm happy to share. So if all of a sudden I start to look like I'm on death's door and get gray hair and wrinkles, I'll be happy to share it as is, real time. No, no faking it, no filters, nothing.
Yeah. And what I know, like just quickly before the next question, I know when you first went raw, like you didn't feel good right away, right? It took some time. You kind of maybe did feel like you were on death's door for a little bit until like Like with me, I felt like all my health problems and I felt like a new person and my best self and like literally like a new person, like right away. But with you,
Oh, interesting.
it took time, right? Because with some people,
Oh,
like they feel like crap and they think like this
well,
diet sucks, right? But it takes time for some people.
yeah. I mean, I'm a raw vegan coach. I have thousands of clients, 2,600 people in Raw Vegan Heroes. Have had hundreds of private clients over the years of doing this. And it's rare for someone to just waltz into a raw vegan diet and have a great experience. Most people have to go through a transition. And most people think that they need information about what food to eat. Most people think they need recipes to follow. But really, what people need is support. Above all else, we need accountability. So, the quickest way to go from where we are to where we want to be is accountability. So, what
Mhm.
does that mean? That means being in a new crab bucket, being intentional about who influences our mind and what we think on a daily basis. Because if your grandma or your kids or husband who love you very much, but if they're nagging in your head all day long that they want meat, they want a turkey sandwich, it's very hard to break away from that. So then the gravitational pull back to your normal crab bucket is undeniable. It's very hard to escape that. So when we surround ourselves with other like-minded people, it reminds us of what's real, what's possible for us, and that we can truly do it. And then we automatically get ideas, we get uplifted, we see recipes, just being around us, drinking our green juice, we see the pathway when we surround ourselves with the right people. So over the years, witnessing thousands of people go raw vegan, yes, there's detox symptoms, challenges, but 90% of it is mental. Maybe the 80-20 rule, so 80% is mental. 20% is detox symptoms, clearing the body out, detoxing the gut. I recommend doing a one-time intervention juice fast to cleanse the bowels of plaque and biofilm. That's like a really, really important, great start. For one, it increases absorption when you
Mhm.
fast. And two, it increases bowel transit time so you can absorb and move those things through better. So a one-time juice fast is critical for most people. And then that just helps you stay on track with the support you need. And that
Yeah.
combination, 20%, practicality, applying yourself, and 80% mindset support, there is no failing. There
Mhm.
is no struggling. Struggle and hardship and people's fear that I'm not going to be able to do this is simply lack of support, 100% hands down. And maybe a little lack of vision sprinkled on top for their lifestyle. Maybe you lack a little vision of who you want to be and how you want to craft your life. Well, you got to be around other successful people to get that. It rubs off. Success is contagious. Success
Mhm.
leaves clues. You're going to pick up the breadcrumb trail and you're going to say, oh, yeah, this is possible for me. And then it's really no thing. A couple detox symptoms, a couple months of feeling bad or losing extra weight. People have hair fall. They will have sensitive teeth. They will lose weight that they don't want to lose. They maybe get dark circles under the eyes, things like that. But you got to climb out the hole you climbed in. You know,
Yeah.
I always say we've spent decades accumulating waste in our body through the foods we're eating. And then we want to feel amazing after a week of raw food. How realistic is that? We have to climb out of that hole that we climbed in, which we have to feel everything we've done to ourselves. So as we detox, it's the toxins leaving our body, and it's the greatest gift we could ever give to ourselves to go through that transition. But if you think you're getting sick and you want to give up, that's where you need the support. So it's that
Yeah.
combination that makes the miracles happen.
And that's where your group helps. I mean, when I joined your group, I'll put the link down below for Shane's group. It's the best group, in my opinion, on the internet with like support for being healthy and being raw. But when I first joined your group, like I was disciplined and I was able to stay on track with my lifestyle with being raw. That wasn't why I joined, but I was going through a hard time, right? With
Mm,
my personal life. And just you can kind of sometimes feel isolated on this lifestyle too, because not that many people eat this way. So that those were my main reasons for joining. But it was great. It helps me so much. I love the group. So I'll link that down below. And okay, the next question says, you guys should drop acid. He's a great guy. And you two are putting out a lot of healthy content. I never really was one to get into drugs. So since this is a question, just curious, like, were you and since your raw vegan journey, have you been one to like explore like the plant medicines and like all those types of drugs?
Definitely not, because a raw vegan diet is healing psychologically and emotionally on the deepest level possible for our biology. Plant medicine is a form of toxins, psilocybin or
Really?
whatever, the
Mhm.
ayahuasca. Yeah, you're putting more toxins in the body. There is no more clear, full, connective experience than detoxing, cleansing, and purifying your body with raw, fresh, whole juices and living foods and the enzymes and the minerals. When you cleanse your body, you actually get a deeper connection to the divine matrix, like the nature of God, the animals, the plants, the trees, everything connected and talking to you. So if you want to feel like a shaman, you detox your body, you cleanse your body. It's going to make you feel like you are literally on some sort of plant medicine trip, but
Mhm.
clean and non-toxic. It's the best. So I don't think that someone like myself who's been raw vegan for 6 years, that I would even benefit. I believe that doing plant medicine would take my energy down. It would actually be
Wow.
going in reverse from where I am now. It would lower my vibration, it would lower my energy, and it would be adding toxins to my body. So while there might be a recreational component there that some people might like to explore, I think that it's a version. Now I'm going to speak very frankly, and I don't mean to offend
Mm.
anyone, but
No, we like
if
honesty on this channel. That's good.
okay, because if you are doing plant medicine to feel connected and to move through traumas, you're missing the point, which is that you really need to connect to your true whole self without any of that. Just pure, raw, whole living foods from the vines and the trees from Mother Nature, and then it talks to you and connects to you. So if you continually turn to plant medicine, you're just holding yourself back and you're playing small, and you haven't really stepped into your full potential and full power. So to step into your full power, you need to take on a disciplined lifestyle that encompasses the lifestyle
Mhm.
changes that are going to bring your energetics up to a higher connected level. And raw foods don't give us anywhere to hide from our emotional traumas. So we get to experience all the pain that we're hiding from. So past traumas and things that we have carried with us our whole life that create these limiting beliefs and limiting experiences, we can't really move through those with plant medicine. We have to move through those through clearing the emotional blocks that are in our body through toxicity. So there's no better way. Cleansing is a trip. And if somebody thinks that they can get to higher spiritual states without cleansing their body, without the purity of raw foods, I would say that's a mistake. And you owe it to yourself to
Mm.
try and go deeper into a raw vegan diet with bowel cleansing at the core. And I think you'll find it's far more healing emotionally, mentally, and spiritually.
Wow, that's a really good answer.
Mm.
That surprises me. I thought you would have been into ayahuasca. I didn't know. I've always kind of had a desire to do it, and you see these people that just have these like amazing awakenings and stuff in that experience, but what you just
Well,
said really puts
where are
things into
they?
perspective with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where are they starting from? Where's your baseline? I've been
Mhm.
working on personal development and spiritual kind of awakening in my own life since I was a teenager. Since I first went vegan in 1990, 34 years ago now, I've been working on bettering myself, mastering myself. Now my highest level of self-mastery is through service. That's why I run my coaching program and help so many people. I have thousands of clients because service is how I see myself, and
Mhm.
so that's the highest level. I mean, doing ayahuasca, like how it's still a self-focused place. And I think we need to break through to being in a servant's heart. You want to really excel to the next level in your life, like break through all your limitations and have the highest level of self-mastery you've ever experienced. Get into a servant's heart, help other people. You want to experience self-mastery and personal empowerment. You help other people experience personal empowerment. It'll take your life to the next level. It's the law of reciprocity. It's actually a universal law and we can't escape it. So, that's why I try not to be too self-focused on myself and really be other focused. That's what I do. That's the level I'm at. That's, quite a trip. It's really psychedelic to get into your servant's heart and really commit your life to that life of
Yeah, and I
service.
feel like it's really godly too, and then I feel like you're really attracting more and attracting just what your best life, right?
Yeah,
And
you attract your best life for sure.
okay, you said you went vegan in 1990. I just want to say that must be so rare. I remember when I was around that age, maybe a little bit or around 1990, 1993. I was born in 82. I went vegetarian because my mom's best friend owned a
Oh,
farm and I saw all the animals get taken away one day. And I was like, what's going on? And she was like, they're going to be slaughtered. And like, I think some of them were crying and it was traumatizing. So I went vegetarian then for years and years. But I mean, to go vegan in 1990, I think that was pretty rare back then. What triggered that?
Yeah.
Was it the Essene Gospel piece you read? Actually, I think I just remembered, or no?
No, I didn't come across that book until I was 30. So
Mm,
I went vegan at 17 in 1990 because I needed to make a difference. I wanted to contribute. You know, I saw the world as flawed, and I was like, whoa, this doesn't reflect the values that I feel, you know, are important to like support each other, have a win-win situation in the world. So for me, going vegan was a way to assert myself, apply myself, make a difference in the world, but also to kind of withdraw from the matrix of control, the domination, the military industrial complex, the abuse, you know, that like factory farming
mhm.
abuse mentality. I needed to pull myself out of that to go where I wanted to go in life, you know. So I saw that difference really, really clearly at a very young age. And so for me, abstaining from eating animal products was one, practicing self-mastery, practicing a discipline that served my highest benefit, but it also served the animals, served the planet, and kind of withdrew me from the norm, the mainstream. And I never fit into the mainstream, thank God, because now I, of course, march to the beat of my own drum and I'm my own leader. And I couldn't have done that if I had continued to eat burgers and fries and ice cream my whole life, you know? So junk food holds us
Yeah.
back. Animal products hold us back. A life of discipline and service sets us free. You know, it's like we do the hard, if we front load our hard work in life, we get freedom. If we try to take the easy road in life, life gets hard, you know?
Mhm.
So for me, it's just like, okay, being vegan at 17 is a simple technique. It's a simple tool I can use to set myself free, which is what it has done. And it's continued to evolve. And then, when I was 30, it was around the year 2000, I discovered the Essene Gospel of Peace. And that was the first time I ever heard about raw food. And then I took all my years, decades of vegan experience and put it together with raw food, and raw vegan came into focus for the first time. I instantly did a juice fast when I was 30, and I went raw vegan for about a week to try it.
Wow.
But I thought at the time that fully raw vegan was so out there. It was like for monks living on mountaintops, people who weren't engaged in society. And while that is true, you know, are we going to fit into the mainstream, or are we going to be our own superpower? Are we going to be unstoppable? And that's what I got committed to. I got committed to being unstoppable. And it still took me a lot of years to decide that raw vegan was it for me. And that was the way I was going to apply myself, have a discipline, have a practice, have a method, be in service, and it all wraps into one, to where that's just my highest expression of how I want to live life. It's how I see life, you know. So
Mhm.
cooked foods in general, if I do have cooked foods, it's really minimal, and something like maybe steamed potatoes or something. I don't do, you know, like
Mhm.
really simple, so that I keep the vibration really, really high, because that's what I'm after. I'm after high vibrational awareness, high vibrational thinking and
Yeah.
feeling.
And
So
I
everything I
know,
do is in service of that.
yeah. And I know, speaking of vibration, I can't find the question. Somebody was asking how you deal with lower vibrations, like lower vibrational people and being around like things that come up. I can't find the exact question right now, but that was basically like what they were asking, how you deal with like lower vibrations.
There's a lot of people in society, and that's a crab bucket. That's a sphere of influence, a circle of influence. You have to be intentional about where your circle of influence is coming from. The default world gets the default results. If you do what everybody else does, you're going to get the results of everybody else. If you want to exist at the top 0.5 percentile of humanity, you've got to surround yourself with people who are operating at that 0.5 percentile. So we don't get to just sit back and play life like, oh, what's going to happen next? We have to be highly intentional with every single thing we do. And that's the secret. If you are intentional with who you surround yourself with, who you spend time with, what you eat, how you treat your body, the thoughts you think, you will be highly successful in life. Low vibrational people don't even hit my radar, and I don't even hit their radar for the
Mhm.
most part, to be honest, because vibration is a match. If the vibrations are too out of sync, they're not, you don't even see each other.
Unless
you
it's
know?
Instagram comments, maybe. No, I'm just joking. No one's
That's
protected on Instagram. You can be the highest vibe person, and people will still be on Instagram on you.
that is very true. That is very true.
But
And
no, yeah, these are
so
great points. Yeah.
right, but I don't generally respond or have conversations with people who are in a lower vibration because I know I
Mm,
can't convince. It's not my job to try to enroll or convince. It's
yeah.
only my job to vibrate at the level I want to. Right. So, of course, you're going to get haters. Of course, you're going to get people that don't get it or don't understand you or even spew hate or even wish harm on you. I get that all the time. But to me, it's just a projection.
You
And
get the
really,
harm? People wish harm on you?
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. All the time. You get like, yeah, for sure.
Not
Like, I
to
hope you
laugh. I
get
shouldn't
cancer and
laugh.
die.
I shouldn't laugh. That
Yeah. I
sounds,
hope you
I
die.
sound like a psycho laughing. I should not laugh at that. But that's, I would just feel sorry for that, right? Yeah.
Well,
I
right.
mean,
You
it's
do feel
good.
sorry for that. You know what I've come to understand, though, really, is that, praise and criticism are just a projection of someone else. My experience is the only thing I'm responsible for. So I do my best with myself, my experience, to project the highest energy and vibration and information and share that part of myself. So if somebody's projecting on me, either praise or criticism, I know that's just a projection. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter. That's
True.
why we
And
have to be self-referencing.
do you ever feel like you make mistakes in life and you feel bad about things? Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have raised my voice with that person or talk to the customer service person this way, or I screwed up with this in a relationship. Like, do you feel like you're so evolved that you don't make mistakes? Or when you do make mistakes, do you just have like you found a way to just have total self-love and like not feel bad about those mistakes, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I do make mistakes. Of course I do. We all do. We're humans. That's what this Earth School is for, is making mistakes and learning. But I call it failing forward.
Hmm.
So if I fail or I make a mistake, I know that that's just teaching me something I need to learn. Or say I have a feeling in my body like anxiety or something that doesn't feel right or that I don't like. I actually try not to judge it as good or bad, but really just let it be there as a teacher. Like I assume everything has a reason to teach me something I need to learn. If it's showing up in my space, I have something to learn. So therefore, I'm in the Earth School. I know the Earth School's not easy. I didn't come here. I didn't come here for it to be easy. I came here to learn, and class is in session. So I'm open to
Class is
learning.
in session, master
Class is
class.
in session.
You are like Oprah level of conversations, like literally. Like,
Oh,
no,
I
it's
appreciate
amazing.
that.
I love talking to you. I feel like when we interview together, like I feel like not to like brag. I feel like I bring out the best in you. You just like I don't know what it is. Our dynamic together, you're always great when you speak. Like, because I see you guys join Shane's group because he speaks live. I think it's every Friday. I think it's 1 or 2 p.m. my time. I forget. I see the thing pop up when it's Friday. But you're such a great speaker. So we're blessed. We're
Well,
blessed.
thank you, Gillian. And you know what? You do bring out the best in me because good questions are the key to life. Understanding what questions to ask actually is what helps us become the best version of ourselves. So you ask good questions, and you're over
Thanks.
here like, I got a lot of questions, but then you're like, I don't remember the question, but I have this question. So you're pulling on your best self and your highest vibration to even pose the questions in the way that are meaningful to help the viewers and the listeners. So it's a good combination. I really love our dynamic that
Yeah,
we
me
have.
too. We just try to add the most value. And I think this next question will definitely add value. Somebody said, would like to know a suggestion for a first day for a beginner, what to eat from morning to night or whatever is best. Thank you. I could get through day one, then there would be a day two onward. So I guess they're like how to go raw, like the first day, what to do.
Okay, this is what I did. Day one was I just said, okay, I'm going to make big salads that satiate me. Because the first thing you're going to deal with is like, am I full? Right? Because going from cooked food to raw food, it doesn't have that same numbing like density in the stomach of that fullness. And that's one of the main benefits of going raw vegan is feeling lighter, being lighter, having more energy because you're not burdening your digestive system with cooked food, but it takes a little transition. So to feel satiated, what are you going to need? You're going to need calories, you're going to need, lots of fats, proteins, carbohydrates. So you want to load up a salad with everything that you want to put on there. The first salad I ever made, the day I decided to go 100% raw, I loaded it up with apples, walnuts, raisins, tons of greens, homemade dressing. And I would just pack it, make it big and full of calories. And I would just eat that whole thing. And you know what I said to myself? I can do this. If I had to eat this salad every day for the rest of my life, I can be raw vegan because it was so satisfying. So you make yourself a salad that is satisfying. That's the key. But also, it's really important to realize that our body is struggling with absorption. 80% of the US population is nutrient deficient, in spite of us, of course, consuming more food than just about any nation on earth. So we're eating all this food, but we're nutrient deficient. Why is that? Because our gut is very, very inefficient at absorbing. And there's reasons for that, because we are eating too much cooked food. We're eating too much animal products. It creates biofilm, plaque, sludge, waste that is accumulated in there. This is why we do a juice fast. And fasting has one miraculous benefit. It increases your body's efficiency at absorbing. So if you're absorbing more nutrition from less food, you can eat less and feel better. That's where we want to get. So you have to understand on day one where you're going, or you'll never get there. Okay, so having proper goal setting and putting the right steps in the right order is the only way to proceed. This is what I teach as a coach. This is what is outlined in my bowel detoxification guide in my group program. When people join that, they get these lessons that I'm teaching. Okay, because we need to understand what today's work is going for. Somebody just asked me today, they're on my text message community. They texted me and said, do I have to take a lot of supplements? Do I need this? I see other expert raw vegans saying to do this and do that and spend all this time in the kitchen. I said, the only answer to that question is, what is your goal? If your goal is to be 100% raw for a year, 2 years, or whatever your goal is, you have to make choices that support that goal in proper goal setting order. So the reason I'm a successful raw vegan is because I am a master self-coach. I coach myself really, really well, which means I know how to delay my gratification. I don't have to be a raw vegan. I don't have to be successful today. I can put the right steps in the right order and achieve it tomorrow or the next day. And I know how to work toward a goal, and that's critical. So improving absorption so you get more nutrition from less food, and then satiating properly with calories and macronutrients is the whole key. It's the answer, and it will lead you down the right path. But the last thing I'll say on that, and I think this would be a helpful analogy, if you're like a ship in the harbor, you can't leave port to go sail to your destination of being raw vegan until you program a GPS location into the GPS of the ship, right? If there's no GPS program, the ship will never leave. And if you ask a captain at sea where they're going, they're going to tell you exactly where they're going because they have the GPS coordinates programmed in. And there's only one programmed destination at a time. If you try to program 2 destinations into the GPS, where are you going to go? You're going to go nowhere. So you can't have multiple destinations. You can't have multiple goals. If you want to be a successful raw vegan, you have one goal and you work till you accomplish that goal, and then you immediately set a new goal. And just like the captain of a ship, if you go to port and then immediately change your next destination, you can reach every port across the globe in very little time. We can be very, very successful in a very short period of time if we know how to put the right goals in the right order and achieve them in succession like that. So goal setting is key, satiating is key, absorption is key, and detoxing the bowels properly is key, to answer that question.
And that's kind of true for everything in life. I feel like with the goals, not just with the food. I feel like what you were saying, that's like true for everything. If you have, if you, I'm confused, I can't decide, should I do this? Should I do this? Like the universe is confused too, right? When you have goals, this is exactly what I want to do. Then you start going in that direction.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more clear you are on what you want, the more easy it is at the step you're at.
Okay. And the next question said, I would like to know if he's worked with anyone in shrinking fibroids. If yes, how big was it and how long to start experiencing healing?
I've worked with many people with fibroids, and fibroids, tumors, and cysts have a common theme that I've noticed. And that is more than just toxicity in the body causing these problems, but really like a stuck energy. I've noticed that every single person I've ever worked with fibroids has an aspect of their life where they're unfulfilled or unmoved, like a need, a deep emotional, psychological need has never been met or is currently chronically unmet. So I see a correlation between chronically unmet needs and fibroids. And so while we can detox the body to help support shrink the fibroids, and juice fasting is a great place to start because it opens the elimination system.
Mm-hmm.
But until we address the chronically unmet needs, it's probably going to come back or not go away at all. So people who work with me privately, for instance, I do this type of work where we really examine our needs, and it often takes us into realms of like shadow work where we reclaim abandoned parts of ourselves, reclaiming parts of ourselves that have been, forgotten about or denied out of pain, out of survival techniques, out of just wanting to get by. And so we've shut off parts of ourselves. And this is why fibroids really form. That's at the root. Okay, so when you do that emotional reclaiming work and the shadow work, and you do a juice fast and you cleanse your bowels and open the pressure up, then your lymphatic system can start to remove the toxins and the acids, your emotions start to clear. Juice fasting is also really great to clear the emotions and give you that clarity. So then you see things more clearly. You're going to have more insight into how you meet your needs emotionally, and you're going to have a much more effective process of shrinking fibroids and cysts. So I know it sounds a little bit out there to think that cysts or fibroids could be related to our needs or our emotional state, but it just is. Every single case I've ever worked with has the exact same common thread.
Wow.
So, yeah, it makes a big difference. That's why a raw vegan diet is the emotional healing that we're looking for, because we cannot numb ourselves out, deny ourselves, and play small and pretend that not good enough is good enough when we eat raw vegan. It gives us permission to just become who we've always wanted to be and to be unstoppable. It just does. It gives us that permission. And especially if we get support, especially if we have proper goal setting, especially if we can delay that gratification and not always be looking for that quick fix, like, oh, let me go raw vegan and feel better in a week. We have to have the proper vision for our life, and that can change everything. So I hope that's a helpful response.
Yeah, that's very helpful. And I just interviewed a couple. They're doing a 60-day juice fast. I think they're under double Dutch aerobics. They're just like they're just the coolest couple I've ever had on. It's not posted yet, but she actually told a story about how she got rid of her fibroids on a water fast. I think that was what worked for her, and that's great. But I personally think like people have to be careful on water fasts and dry fasts. Like I've never done them, and you do see stories, and like I'm all about health and wellness in the natural community, obviously. But I think people have to be more careful with those types of fasts, don't you? Or like, what's your take on a water fast or dry fast? Juice fasting's great because like you still have so much, you're getting so much, you have so much energy, right? It's different than those types of fasts. But what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on water and dry fasting?
Well, water fasting and juice fasting, let me just speak on those in comparison, are so completely different. They have a different goal, a different outcome, and require different metabolic processes from the body completely. So water fasting puts the body into ketosis, where it burns fat and it starts to recycle proteins and dead cells. And that's great for water fasting for recycling. But juice fasting gives your body tons of calories, tons of carbohydrates, and tons of nutrition. So it's not for ketosis, and it's definitely not for recycling, but it is still a fasted state. So when the body has hydration, calories, nutrition coming from the juices, but no digestion, the body turns to elimination. Juice fasting helps the body eliminate toxins and waste that have accumulated, while water fasting doesn't focus on waste elimination, it focuses on recycling. So if you have gut problems, if you have inflammation, if you've got autoimmune, if you've got symptoms of acidosis, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's, thyroidism, hyperthyroidism, arthritis, acne, dermatitis, eczema, anything that is a symptom of acidosis or inflammation, juice fasting is 100% of the time the path you want to go down, because you have an accumulated waste in the body, and no amount of water fasting is going to address that issue. Also, when your body is fasted with juices, it focuses on eliminating the waste. And so you can release mucoid plaque, which is a really incredible thing to experience. Releasing biofilm and plaque that's accumulated out of the GI tract will change your life. Water fasting cannot do that because there's nothing flushing the GI tract. It's just in recycle mode. So the end result is completely different. And dry fasting, of course, is something that I think can be taken to extremes. People die from it. Every raw vegan who dies in the news story is somebody who's doing water fasting and dry fasting. So I'm not a proponent of water fasting and dry fasting. I say let's feast on the amazing juices. Let's feast and rejoice in the bounty for us, God's divine perfection in the hydration. Actually, did you know there's 4 types of water, actually? Solid, liquid, gas, and gel. So this is a gel form of water. And the gel form of water is the most absorbable by the body, most utilized by the body. So if you have an emergency hydration situation, like EMTs show up and somebody's about to die from dehydration, the first thing they do is do a gel water. So it has the highest absorption for our body. So when we drink juices, we are hyper hydrating our interstitial fluids, our organs. If we've got, burdened kidneys or adrenals, all of that hydration just like lifts that burden. It purifies the bowels, it purifies the blood, it purifies the lymph, the interstitial fluids, the organs, it purifies your mind. You can't get that from water fasting.
No, and I don't know if you've probably seen the light bulb test that Lou does, right? I posted a reel where he did it with the lemon ginger blast with the green juice and then with the water, and the light bulb lights up like it's living. The juices are living too, right? I
Yeah,
feel like
that's so incredible.
yeah, okay. This ties perfectly into the next question. Somebody said, can't wait to hear Shane's wisdom again, obviously. And they said, I recently listened to an interview on Ava's channel with Dr. Areli. I don't know who that is. Sorry if my pronunciation's wrong. She has done over 200 autopsies and didn't find any mucoid plaque in their intestines. So what exactly do people release during the juice fast, according to Shane? Thank you.
Yeah, well,
You're
the
probably
medical
like, this question again, Gillian.
So the digestive system is a living, breathing part of us that's always going through transition and changes depending on what we're experiencing and depending on the foods we're eating and the condition of our health. There's no question that there is waste accumulation in the bowels. There's a name for it. Diverticulitis is one. That's just a medical term where the waste is kind of getting lodged in pockets in the GI tract. We know that there are biofilms in the GI tract, also in our arteries, and there's biofilms throughout our body because there is bacterial colonies, bacterial activity that produce biofilm to protect their environment. So that's just a natural byproduct of the flora in our gut to produce biofilms. And it overproduces biofilms when there's imbalances of bacteria in the gut. So at any given time, we're going to find bacterial imbalances depending on our health. And that's going to produce the levels of biofilm we have in our GI tract. And most people are looking at the lower intestines, like colonoscopies and things like that. The lower intestines isn't even the issue. You can do a colonic or an enema. We're talking about the full 32 feet of the digestive system. The small intestine is where food enters from the stomach, where the most breaking down of food, absorption, and digestion happens. So the overgrowth of bacteria, SIBO, digestive disorders start in the small intestines. So is a medical doctor doing autopsies in the small intestines looking for biofilms? It's probably not even detectable. When you cleanse your body with juices, though, it pulls from all of the fluids, all of the lymph, and drains into the bowels. So, and that's the other key to understand. If people juice fast for a long time, they have cleaned out all of the food that is in their 32 feet of digestive system. However, bowel movements do not stop on a juice fast, no matter how long you go. There's always a small amount that comes out, and that is from the waste in the interstitial fluids, waste in the tissues and organs that have accumulated, causing the arthritis, causing the lupus, causing all this. So the toxic accumulation starts to come out and it condenses and it comes out the bowels. So it comes through the lymph, out the bowels. And you're not going to be able to see that by autopsying the bowels. But I do love Dr. Areli. She's great. She's a long-term raw vegan and she's science medical, focused, where I think that can be a hindrance sometime being trained in the medical field to be skeptical of natural healing. And while she is on board with natural healing, I think natural healing takes on a life of its own. There's a spiritual component to natural healing. There's a reclaiming of our emotional self. I mean, part of releasing mucoid plaque during a juice fast is emotionally detoxifying. It's an emotional release.
Mm-hmm.
So in my Raw Vegan Heroes group, we focus on removing mucoid plaque and bowel accumulations. And you see the pictures that people share, the
yeah.
stories people share. There's no question. So for skeptics who are like, well, I don't know, you go
Mm-hmm.
online, you research mucoid plaque, it says it's not real. You've got to try it for yourself. Wait
Yeah.
till you try it for yourself and see what comes out of you. Who cares what it's called? Plaque, biofilm, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Juice fast and see what comes out of you, and it's going to blow your mind. It's going to change your life. And that's not something that needs to be explained by anybody. You'll have your own experience, and that's going to be what transforms your life.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Okay. And Lieutenant Dan says, I am naturally a skinny person and I find I lose too much weight on a raw diet. Does Shane take any protein or creatine supplements, or what would he recommend for building muscle or any other tips for gaining weight?
Yeah, so a man wants to have good muscular physique. So the key to a man having a muscular physique, regardless of diet, is a progressive overload weightlifting, it's called. So you have to progressively get stronger in the gym. If you don't do that, you will never build muscle, period. End of story. Then you can fuel your strength gains in the gym with calories. So calories actually give our body more energy to hit that new plateau, to push through a challenging workout to get the new overload. Okay. But you can't, it doesn't matter what the macros are, as long as you're having enough calories, you're going to be able to hit that overload. Right there is 90% of building muscle or having muscle as a raw vegan. Progressive overload plus calories to fuel into that hard workout. Now you can dial it in with macros. And the mainstream medical fitness narrative says you have to eat a bunch of protein to build muscle, but that's not true. You can have moderate to small amounts of protein and build muscle. It's the subtle balance of the macronutrients that your body needs for the workload you're putting it under. Proteins, carbs, and fats. So yes, you need some proteins. And the more protein you focus on in a raw vegan diet, the better for bodybuilding, yes, but from sprouts, greens, raw nuts, and seeds. And protein powders are generally not my favorite. I mean, they're processed and they are generally isolated. So while they can be a convenience, I just look at it just as that. It's nothing more than a convenience. It's not necessary. It is not even ideal. Convenient, yes. And protein powders can add a texture or a flavor to a smoothie that can be enjoyable. So that's really why I use a protein powder, not to try to build muscle or to up my protein intake, but to just have maybe a flavor or a texture to my smoothie that I like. So focusing on raw vegan protein sources is a big question I get. So I have a free video course called How to Go Raw Vegan. Start here. And video number 2 in the video course is how to get protein as a raw vegan. I also have an extensive full training on how to get protein as a raw vegan to thrive. And I'm talking thrive as a raw vegan, not just try it and fail and give up after a year. I'm talking about really do it.
Yeah.
I have a full training in Raw Vegan Heroes. So when people join my group, they get all of the support, hundreds of hours of training videos on every single thing they need. And that's a big one. Protein and building muscle are in there. Those are my official training videos because people need it. But the gist of it, which anybody can do at the gym right now today, is you go progressive overload. You go get stronger in the gym. You will see the muscles grow regardless of what your diet is.
Okay, great. And the next question is, I'd like to know his weekly hair routine to keep such amazing head of hair and his views on supplements like multivitamin capsules, turmeric, and black seed oil capsules.
Yeah, well, okay, for supplements, I don't do supplements, so to speak. I will, I do take care of my hair. Like as a man who's 50 years old, it's very important that I have the proper nutrition to fuel hair follicle restoration and growth so that I don't have premature balding for a man my age. I don't have good genes on my family side. My mom's dad was completely bald by the time he was my age.
Wow.
So I was nervous about that growing up. Was I going to get that side of the genes because it comes from your mom's side? But I have been plant-based most of my life, and I focus on nutrient density and I focus on nutrition. So that's the key. So can supplements play a part in a healthy raw vegan diet for hair health? Well, yeah, they can, but if you don't address absorption if you don't address how your body's utilizing those foods, you could be one of those
Mhm.
people who are nutrient deficient and you go raw vegan and you become anemic or you become protein deficient because you're not able to absorb properly. So I've spent years focusing on making my body efficient. Actually, you want to really know the truth? Forcing my body to become efficient. And people are like, oh, you shouldn't force. Don't force things. I force my body
Yeah.
to do what I want it to do. And I want my body to be hyper efficient at absorption and utilization of my nutrition so that I don't need to take supplements. With that said, though, I do like a couple supplements. Like B vitamins are great and great for hair. So once, maybe a couple times a week, if I have like a video I'm doing, I need a little boost, I'll take a B complex capsule because it just gives me a little energy boost. I like B, but no more than twice a week. I don't like to overdo supplements. I also do, along with the Bs, maybe I'll do a squirt of B12 liquid for energy. Mostly if I'm going to do a video, I do that, but I don't take it every day. And I definitely don't take it because I think I'm going to become deficient of B12. I've never been deficient in B12 my entire life. And I've been vegan for many years without ever taking a single B12. So I do like those. And then I'll do like zinc. I'll do a squirt of zinc in my smoothie, liquid zinc, but not every day. And then I also really like mineral drops. I'll do fulvic minerals and I will do trace minerals every single day. Okay, that's religious. Every single day for the last 6 years, I've taken fulvic minerals and trace minerals in my smoothies. And then besides that, I love adaptogenic herbs. And I think it plays a big part in my hair health as a 50-year-old man. I do ashwagandha, I do ginseng, and I do cordyceps mushrooms. I do reishi, I do lion's mane, and I rotate. I don't do the same thing every day all the time, but I rotate with the adaptogenic herbs. And besides that, I believe cacao. I do a cacao smoothie every day, pretty much. Pre-workout, I love my cacao smoothie, cacao maca smoothie. And I believe cacao has really restorative properties for the hair, for the follicles, for the skin in general. And so I believe it's a big part of having healthy hair at my age as a raw vegan. I don't do a lot. I'm not talking a lot. I'm not addicted to
Yeah.
cacao. I don't recommend it for everybody. If you don't want to do it, fine. I
Yeah.
do a couple tablespoons in my smoothie every day because it just gives me that, I don't know, circulation. And that's the other thing. We need to get circulation to our skin. That's one reason guys go bald or anybody gets thinning hair as they age is because lack of
These do that
circulation.
too. Yeah.
Right. So circulation, correct. The ginger, the turmeric, and your viewer there asked about turmeric. So I drink turmeric and ginger here in my lemon ginger blast every day. I have one of these every day. Okay. So then I'm getting the parsley, the cilantro, the ginger, the turmeric, and the lemon. All of that contributes and aids. It really plays a big part. So overall, a wide variety of nutrient density and a full spectrum of vitamins and minerals from your diet will keep your hair healthy. And besides that, I do use like hair oils and things
Oh, you
sometimes,
do?
just to keep my hair, moist but not too much, not too much. Mostly like if I'm going to make a video, I might just try to get a little shine in there or something. But in general, my hair is really healthy and I'm very, very grateful for my
And
raw
is
vegan
it
diet.
like homemade oil or what kind of oil? People will probably wonder. They'll ask
Jojoba
me.
oil is my number one. I'll
What is
put it
it?
on my skin. Yeah. Yeah,
What is
just
it
a little
called?
bit.
What's it called?
Jojoba or
Jojoba.
jojoba.
Oh,
Is
okay,
I
yeah, yeah.
know that one,
And
jojoba.
how many times a week do you wash your hair?
Once or twice, no more.
That's good. Yeah, that's what they say. That's better than every
Yeah,
day.
I'm not a big hair washer, never have been. I like the natural oils on my skin to kind of lubricate my scalp and my hair. So that's actually a big strategy. I really do not over wash my hair. I never have actually. Since I was a teenager, I'd say my average is probably once a week and sometimes more if I'm busy or I'm working and I need to for certain reasons. But generally once a week for hair washing is my default.
And for shampoo and conditioner, do you buy them like does it matter what you use, or are you like deliberate about what shampoo and conditioners you use?
I use natural ones. Yeah, I
Mhm.
try to find as healthy and natural as possible. I buy, I shop at Whole Foods, which has, you know, toxin-free options. I always read the ingredients. I try to avoid the parabens and the silicone and things like that. So I do
Mm-hmm.
make conscious choices, but at the end of the day, you got to find one you like. You got to find one that works, that has the right smell you like. I don't want to smell too flowery. And my
No.
girlfriend comments, I don't smell like a girl after. So I choose shampoos that are not leaving residues and scents behind. But I don't think that plays a part in like hair health overall necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
always natural. I shop at natural markets only. I don't do anything mainstream ever. Me,
Mm-hmm.
no mainstream.
No. Okay, the next question said, the issue I'm having after going raw vegan is that my husband's natural scent smells stronger to me now, even right after he gets out of the shower. I've heard other raw vegans mention this. I was always off and on, plant-based and cooked food, and now that I've committed to 100% raw, smells are starting to become more noticeable. He's on the standard American diet and has coffee with cream every morning. Has anyone else ever experienced this sensitivity or heightened smell? I definitely notice that, especially if I'm juice cleansing or cleansing. But what about you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things that happens when you go raw vegan is a heightened sense of smell, heightened taste. And what's interesting is a heightened sense of intuition or even clairvoyant
Yeah.
feelings. I got more psychic. So I used to call myself sensitive or intuitive, but as a
Mm-hmm.
raw vegan, I'm straight up psychic. I literally have psychic premonitions. I can't deny it. I am. And I see things that are about to happen. I just know things that haven't been spoken. And that's just part of being highly attuned. And it's really cool. And so for me, smell and taste is just part of that. I've really adapted to the smell and taste part. But yeah, you're going to have to look, if you want to be a really unstoppable, badass raw vegan that shines bright, changes the world, sets that example, and sets a new precedent of what's possible in your life, you might have to make changes in your life that are hard or uncomfortable to rework your life. Maybe that's relationships. Now, I'm an empowerment coach, and I help people with 4 main areas of empowerment: health, money, service, and love. Okay, love is a complex one, and I don't consider myself a love coach, but the relationships in our life are so vital and critical for our own well-being. If we
Mm-hmm.
truly examine our deep needs, we might realize we're with the wrong person. And that's often what happens. And our needs are so deeply repressed and so in our subconscious that we don't even allow ourselves to remember that we ever had needs in the first place. They're so deeply repressed. So part of full empowerment is bringing all this repressed awareness up to the surface, examining it, feeling it, letting it wash
Mm-hmm.
over you, and accepting the repercussions. And then where the chips fall, then you have the life you always dreamed of.
Mm-hmm.
So people talk about their husband not smelling good. That just reminds me of me having to go through my divorce with my ex-wife. I went raw vegan. She
Mm-hmm.
was non-vegan. Now I'm married a non-vegan. One of the
Mm-hmm.
biggest mistakes of my life, I actually really learned. I said I make mistakes. I learn from my mistakes, failing forward, okay, on the Earth School. So I would never, ever get into a relationship again with a non-vegan. It's not ever going to happen again as long as I live because it's
Wow.
too far apart on the viewpoints on life and with the physicality, the smells, and everything else. So I had to go through a very difficult separation with children and all, and my kids are doing great.
Mm-hmm.
And
Good.
they live right up the street from me, where I'm friends with my ex-wife and
Oh,
and
good.
and full-time dad with my kids and all that. But
Yeah.
the separation part was a big realization, a big wake-up call that I had to really be empowered in all of the areas that I had repressed my needs. When I got clear on what my needs were, my deep psychological, repressed, unmet needs, for one, that was the exact turning point when I went fully raw vegan. And that was the end of my marriage. Because
Wow.
by me claiming raw vegan, that was like a line in the sand. She couldn't come with me on that one. And it was just too much of a difference. So it goes from smell to becoming psychic to reclaiming our empowerment at the highest level and dealing with the repercussions to become the best version of ourselves. So I hope I haven't scared anyone. I'm just trying to provide some insight into the reality of claiming our true health. True
Mm-hmm.
health is part of the 4 pillars, like I said: love, money, health, and service. So when we claim our health, it bumps up all the other ones. And then all of a sudden, everything else starts to come into form, things that we didn't realize were going to be an issue. you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you've realized this too. Look at you in service, Gillian. You know, you went raw vegan and it's led you to service work as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
100%. Yeah. And I
100%.
wasn't before. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. I had no desire to be I had never even thought about being a coach until I went raw vegan. I knew I had to dedicate my life to helping people from that moment forward. After my 40-day
Mm-hmm.
juice fast, I realized, I saw it clearly. One of my first psychic premonition that I had to serve others, I had to make a difference for others. So it's pretty incredible. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The smell is just the tip of the iceberg.
And you're funny. And with relationships, this comes to mind because somebody commented this on my channel yesterday or the day before. And they said, Gillian, I want to be raw. I love the idea of being raw, but I've noticed like it seems like all these raw vegans are like single, living a lonely life. So what do you think there? Have you found love since your marriage? And what do you think about why do you think it seems like a lot of them are single? I don't know.
I have found love. I think a lot of people are on their exploration journey of life. I think there's a lot of single people in general. I've found love. Yeah. I actually am engaged to a raw vegan woman.
You're
Yeah.
engaged? I didn't know
Yes.
that.
I have
You guys
not
are
announced that publicly. I have not announced that publicly.
Whoa. Oh my
Saying,
God. Stop.
yes.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah,
huge,
thank you.
Shane.
I know. Thank you so much. You know what? We found each
Whoa. I
other.
wish I had that confetti right now. You know, wow. Congrats.
So here's the thing, though. Yes, we found each other because I was putting myself out there in service. So I was working on my self-mastery, my love, money, health, service pillars. And that makes you very attractive. For one, you're going to put yourself out there. You're getting out of your own way. You're dedicated to making a difference. You become very attractive in those states. So she
Yeah.
messaged me one day and said, hey, I'm raw vegan too. I'm in Austin, Texas. And I was like, well, hey, cool, another raw vegan. I had no idea, but we decided to like meet one day and get a salad together. And it was like instant. And
Wow.
it took a while. It took like a year for us to come together. And it's been a process, but she is, I call her my soul baby. She is my
Wow.
soul baby. Like she makes my soul. I feel now there is nothing that is more incredible feeling when you are aligned with your partner like that in lifestyle, worldviews, and outlooks. Like, so for a husband-wife team who one's eating meat, one's eating raw vegan, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. So from someone over here on this side who has found a raw vegan soul baby without even trying.
This is
No, raw
huge.
vegan,
Yeah.
right? No, raw vegan does not make you single. Raw vegan makes you amazing. And
Yeah.
you're going to attract someone who is going to be amazing.
And
Now,
it
they
sounds
don't
like,
have,
go ahead.
yeah, they don't have to be fully raw, I would say, but fully plant-based for sure. I had drawn a line in the sand that I was never going to do anything less than 100% vegan again. And so I got lucky with a raw vegan. And that's pretty freaking incredible. But really, plant-based, any spectrum of plant-based is a go. Yeah.
And I'm sure this would never happen, it sounds like, with you guys. But what if she said, I'm not feeling great. I want to go back to animal products. That's it?
No, that will never happen. No, that
Yeah.
will never happen. She is a lifelong vegan. Her dad's vegan.
Wow. And it sounds like you guys have a really good emotional connection, which is good because, you know, they say the greatest predictor of like success in a long-term marriage is like the emotional connection, even above the physical connection. But even to have both, like that's just the best. And it sounds like you're like so happy. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you, Gillian. I am really happy. Yeah, I was the one who proposed. I said, I'm putting a ring on that.
Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Was she
So
surprised? Was she really surprised at the proposal?
she was very surprised.
Oh,
Very surprised. No one had ever
yay.
proposed to her before. And I had a marriage before. I'm not interested in just hopping around. I don't want to be
No.
married to multiple people. I'm not interested in that at all. So I really am committed to this being the last proposal I ever make. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
I love that. And it's perfect. You guys are both raw vegan. You're in love. It's just that's easier when
Our
your lifestyle
emotional
can sync.
connection is incredible. To be honest, it's really incredible because we see the world the same way. Like she is a true vegan at heart. And when she says things, it puts my soul at ease. Like I relax because I'm not struggling against a different ideology, a different worldview. I
Yeah.
can relax and she can relax with me. So it is really, really incredible to feel that. And that creates a deep emotional bond that's incredible. Highly recommended.
Oh wow. I want to meet her sometime. You should do a video, meet my fiance, and you guys talk about your raw life.
Yeah, we certainly could. I have been keeping her a little bit on the private side because I
Yeah,
do put myself out there publicly, and I don't, I haven't decided to bring her into the public facing aspect of my life yet.
that's a good idea too. That makes sense. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and somebody said that's such huge news. I love it. I'm so happy for you. And somebody said that they would love to meet you. So they were saying that I think one of their friends asked to meet you and they would love to meet you. They're wondering. So I guess what I would ask is they said, would they ever be able to meet you in person? But I'm guess they're asking too, like, do you ever do events or meetups or anything or no?
Yeah, well, I'm here in Austin, Texas, and while Austin is a big town, it's also a small town. And so if somebody wanted to meet me, I would say, for one, there are meetups. There are events here in Austin that I go to. So someone would want to be a member of Raw Vegan Heroes. They would hear about the events that I'm going to be at, maybe speaking at, and then they could prioritize going there to that event. So we have the Texas Fruit Festival here in Austin that happens every year. I've spoken at that festival, so that would be a good environment. But being abreast of these types of events and whatnot, I think you would need to be part of Raw Vegan Heroes. Also, all the members of Raw Vegan Heroes have talked about and extensively talked about a yearly meetup where we can have a Raw Vegan Heroes in-person event. So
It's a good
that is
idea.
something that is in the works. And that will be probably the best way to meet all the like-minded souls that come together, truth seekers and the truth warriors, and the mystics and the light workers who are doing this work on this planet, coming together and celebrating together. And so we have our virtual community, Raw Vegan Heroes, but it's going to turn into an in-person event as well. So
And
we
some
just
new
haven't
couples.
solidified that.
Some new
Yeah.
couples would probably come out of that event.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I have a lot of assistants with me. I have, my moderators who are in the group, or my assistants on my staff. They're going to they're going to really push me until it happens because they want it to happen so much.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Somebody said I would love to hear more from Shane on how he learned to so deeply trust the universe. I would love to learn how to walk through life with that perspective and was curious how he got there. That's a great question, especially during hard
Hmm.
times. How do you just have the faith and trust?
Yeah, well, that's really what it's about, is the faith and the trust. And we have challenging experiences like lack of trust, anxiety, depression, fear, because we have something to learn. And so ultimately, we're going to learn from our despair, from our loss, our grief, our pain, our struggle. So no matter what the challenge is in our life, we're really getting a gift from it. So one way I look at it that makes me trust the universe is that everything that happens to me is conspiring on my behalf to give me the gifts that are going to make this life the best possible. So maybe there's something I need to learn that I haven't learned yet. And the
Hmm.
only way to learn that is through this kind of hard circumstance. So I just trust it. And while it may be uncomfortable in the short term, that's not a big deal for the long term. So my vision is big. And when you have a vision that's bigger than yourself, it brings you out of the circumstance. We might say, I don't like the circumstance, I don't trust the circumstance. But if you have a vision that's connected into something bigger than yourself,
Hmm.
then it doesn't matter what circumstance you're going through because you're ultimately getting to your destination. So that's like the GPS analogy I used earlier. If you program a destination, program a big vision for yourself, it doesn't matter if the seas are rocky or you have to spend a week on a deserted island to get through the storm or whatever, you're going to make it to your destination because it's programmed in. And that's how I feel about my life. I have a big vision. I programmed my destination. I see and I know what I want. I see clearly who I am and what I want. And it doesn't matter what happens here and there. Another way of putting it is like the Zen philosophy. Like I am like the sky. My soul is omnipresent and unwavering like the sky, but the clouds are the circumstances of my life, always changing. All the bunny rabbits and the lions and everything we see in the clouds,
Hmm.
right? Changing every single day, but I am the sky. So at the core root of who I am, nothing can change that. Nothing can hurt that. I am unique. I am my own sovereign source. And that's how I feel, and I allow myself to feel that specialness. I'm not just a random blob that happened to be born and live here. I have a very special source and origin point that is very divine and very magical. And I am in reverence and awe of it every single day. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
my job to like bring that forth as much as possible, you know? And then the other component is creating things. Like if you don't create something, you're going to then be more subject to the whims of circumstance. But I'm a creator. Like I've always
Mm-hmm.
been a creator. I create music, I create art, I create
Mm-hmm.
service to others. I create businesses. I create a lot constantly. I write constantly. I record videos constantly. So I'm always creating. I don't have a lot of room to worry about what's not working. So creating is a way to put your energy into the world where you can feel like you are enough. Also, the
True.
last thing I'll say on that is really feeling like you are enough is one of the critical components to trusting your life, trusting the universe, trusting you'll be taken care of, that you are enough, you know, and we're constantly told we're not enough. Me going raw vegan was really a big claiming of my enoughness, and that I am enough just as Mother Nature intended, God intended. You know, I don't need to alter the food, cook the food, damage the food, and think that that's giving me more. So it's like aligning with my enoughness. That was a big revelation and epiphany for me going raw vegan, is it allowed me to feel like I really am enough in this world. And turning that into service work, like being a coach and helping others with their transformations, that really makes me feel like I'm enough. And so
Mm-hmm.
action, applying yourself, creating, and enoughness is absolutely incredible. It's magical.
It is. Okay. And the next question said, what is his opinion on how the raw diet affects sleep? I was wondering if raw vegans can sleep less while still maintaining optimal functionality.
Yeah. So as a fully raw vegan, you will sleep a little bit less.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the person, maybe. I don't know about you, Gillian, but yeah, I think over the last 6 years of being raw vegan, I probably dropped an hour off of my normal sleep prior to being raw vegan, but I function better than ever. I have more energy. I'm more capable of handling being tired better than ever before. And
Yeah.
so being raw vegan counteracts that. You know, you get more energy, you're digesting less. So also sleep is a way your body detoxifies. So if you aren't needing to detoxify as much, you're not going to need to sleep as much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great bonus. Your body's cleansed, purified, feeling amazing, on top of the world, connected, you're energized, you've got life force in your body. So yeah, you don't need to be like snoozing your life away. I think it's a great benefit.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Me too. And okay, the next question is, he's mentioned before that he doesn't eat broccoli. Is there a reason why? You don't eat broccoli? I didn't know that.
I do not avoid broccoli. I will eat raw broccoli, but the point of that was in one of my videos where I was saying that if you focus on cruciferous vegetables, cooked cruciferous vegetables, as the basis of being plant-based, you're going to really do yourself a disservice. So cruciferous vegetables aren't even necessary or required for optimal protein, fats, or carbohydrates. Why do we need to burden our digestive system with cruciferous vegetables when we have all the access to the carbohydrates we need in other sources? So I think fruits are a far better source. Now, there is nutritional benefits to cruciferous vegetables, yes. So you can have some small amounts of cruciferous vegetables, cauliflower,
Mm-hmm.
rice, or, you know, some raw asparagus in a salad, or raw broccoli in a salad is great. But focusing, you know, going from a cooked omnivore diet to a cooked vegan diet and focusing on cruciferous vegetables as the vegetable is a misunderstanding of what the incredible potential is for you. So I say focus on fruits instead of broccoli. You know, if
Mm-hmm.
you focus on fruits and tender greens and sprouts, you're going to get everything you need. You might not even need broccoli.
Okay, makes sense. And somebody said his eyes, they're getting more beautiful and deep as days and months pass by. Watch out, fiance. No, I'm joking. Want
Oh,
to
thank you.
know the reason behind it.
Yeah, well, you know, when I first went raw vegan, my wife at the time started to call me blue eyes. And that wasn't something that was prompted. She just would look at me and she'd say, yeah, blue eyes, because my eyes started to get vibrant. And that's an incredible benefit of just purifying the body. You know, the eyes are the window to the soul, and
Mm-hmm.
raw vegan purifies your soul. It heals your soul. It heals you on a deep level. And you can see it in the eyes. It's not just about the food. It's not just about the detox. It is a spiritual, psychological, emotional healing experience and journey that we go on that is going to project through the eyes as like a beauty and an innocence. That's what it is. It's a beauty and an innocence because it's aligning with the pureness and the innocence of the divine, and it's in the raw foods. And so it's going to come through you. And that's another thing, you know, I think like I value those. I value beauty. I value innocence and purity and alignment. And when you strive for that every day in your life, it's going to come across. You know, we get downtrodden by life. Working a job that sucks our soul, you know, is one. We go do this job to make money to live, but it sucks our soul. I don't do that. I've turned the way I help people is my living. I'm a coach. I make money from my service, and that uplifts me. And I encourage others to do that. So actually, that's part of my work. I empower people to change careers, leave their jobs, start coaching businesses, following their soul purpose work. And I would say if you follow your soul purpose work and you take care of your body, your eyes are going to brighten up.
I love that. And okay, somebody said, how do I handle family and friends who call me orthorexic because I won't eat out at restaurants anymore or eat the food they make for me? When I do go to a restaurant, I order raw vegan options or bring my own food to an event. Mind you, they are all sick and unhealthy, and I'm trying to get healthy. I feel like the term orthorexia is being used against people who simply don't want to eat junk food anymore. And I agree with that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we have to be intentional around who we spend time with and who we allow influencing our mind. So if you allow the people you love to influence your mind, you're going to end up just like them. So we have to have a dividing line at some point in our life, draw a line in the sand where our friends and our family are our friends and our family, but we don't let them influence us. Now, that might be harder for some than others, depending on your family background and history and culture. But I knew, I think he was a Cuban man, one of the most successful humans I've ever met personally, multiple 8-figure earner, who he told me the story about how his mother was so negative, had such a poverty mindset. He had to basically separate himself completely from his siblings. I think he had like 8 siblings. He could not talk to his siblings or his mother anymore. He bought them a house. He bought his mom a house, hooked her up, bought them all cars, you know, like gave generously to his family, but cut off all communication. Now, he was one of the most successful people I've ever met in my life. And he talks about the power of having to be intentional with who influences our mind. So when somebody says, my family doesn't support this, all I can think is that you're letting them influence you. You know, who are you going to be is the question. Who are you going to be?
Yeah.
Are you beholden to someone else? Or are you going to be unstoppable in your life? Are you going to be an empowered individual? To be an empowered individual, to reach exceptional heights and success in your life, to be a shining example that inspires others for generations to come, you have to be hyper intentional about who influences your mind.
I love that. So true. Okay, and this next guest, Lisa, says, I've asked this question on another forum, but never got an answer. I'm not 100% raw and occasionally eat some cooked foods, whole food, plant-based. I see a lot of vegans using tofu in many forums and in recipes. I understand that the way they harvest soybeans is to spray them with a chemical that kills the plant prior to harvest. If this is true, why are vegans using it as a staple protein, and isn't tofu considered a processed food? Sorry for the long question. I never liked tofu. I mean, I'm raw. I don't consume tofu, but what are your thoughts on that? What would you respond with to that question?
Finding alternative protein sources to tofu will empower you to not have to choose tofu or worry about tofu. Tofu is just an option. It's a food. It's there, just like any other food. Do you choose to eat meat or do you choose not to eat meat? Do you choose to eat tofu? Do you choose not to eat tofu? I mean, yes, it is a processed food. So I ate tofu all through my cooked vegan years, lots of it through my 20s when I was younger. But as a raw vegan, I don't like eating tofu because I would prefer tempeh for one. If I'm going to eat soybeans, like culturing and fermenting the soybeans and then like doing crumbles on your salad, that's something I do. But I think just staying away from processed food in general is the best bet. Then you don't have to worry about how it's processed or if it's organic or GMO. 95% of all the soy in the world is GMO anyway. Not the organic stuff. If you get organic tempeh, it's not GMO. Most of that's fed to livestock. But yeah, it definitely is something to be aware of and avoid if you want to be healthy. And there's such an amazing array of other foods to enjoy. So just empowering ourselves with what foods we do eat instead of what foods we don't eat is a much better strategy. Look at the cup as half full instead of half empty. So education is important. Education on what foods will empower your body, provide full nutrient density, and give you everything you're looking for. And it might require a transitional time where you don't get to eat everything you used to eat. And that's okay, because discipline and structure will set you free. Discipline and structure is the path to freedom. So limitation gives you more. Okay, it's a paradox. But if no limitation gives you less, so that's the paradox of life that we're all trying to master here on the Earth School.
Well said. Okay. And how to keep bone structure healthy on a raw vegan diet?
Bone structure, well, lift weights. If you want to keep your bones dense and strong, you got to get under stress. So I lift weights. I lift weights 5 days a week. And I don't do it to try to bulk up. I do it for health, for tendons, ligaments, connective tissue, bone density. I just get myself under heavy weight and feel that weight on my body. And that's healthy for the bones, keeps your bones strong. Also, when you're taking in minerals like the juices, the green juices, I supplement with minerals, like I was saying. The minerals buffer any acids, which will leach minerals from the bones, depleting bone density. Acids are the culprit for depleting bone density. So if you're eating grains, oils, meat, dairy, and eggs, processed foods, cooked starches, junk food, processed food, packaged food, alcohol and caffeine, that's going to leach the bones as much as possible. So if you're a raw vegan, your bones are going to be so strong. Look at all the biggest animals on the planet. Bulls, elephants, rhinoceroses, all eat grass. So, I mean, that says it all right there. But it's just it's a matter of a little weightlifting will do wonders.
Okay. And this question is, every time I try to go plant-based, I get numbness and tingling from lack of vitamin B and end up quitting the diet. Any suggestions to help with this? Should I take a supplement? Is there certain fruits and vegetables I should be including? I've never heard of that happening. Have you? I mean, I supplement. I know you
No.
don't. I'm all about supplements, but have you heard of people getting this happen before? What do you think?
Well, I would say that that's an assumption to say that the tingling sensation is from lack of B vitamins. How does that
True.
person know that, for one? And I would say that the
True.
body is oxygenating. I get tingly when I drink a green juice, and I've been raw for 6 years, and I still get a tingle from oxygenation. I do remember when I first went raw vegan, I would feel tingly from the extra oxygen in my body. And I would say, well, how do you know it's a B12 deficiency and not oxygenating your body? That's more likely. If you take a blood test and you see you're nutritionally deficient, then you have to focus on absorption, because there are plenty of B vitamins in a raw vegan diet, 100% adequate, not even a question. And even if you wanted extra B vitamins, like I said, I take a B complex and a B12 squirt once in a while on days where I need a little boost of energy, like I'm going to do a video, because it boosts my energy to have B12 and other Bs. And I do it kind of just because I like the feeling of it. So you can be fully raw and have a B supplement, but you don't have to do that out of nutritional deficiency reasons. If you have any deficiency, you need to cleanse the gut, force your gut to become efficient at absorbing. That's the only key. If you do that through cleansing and fasting, you'll be 100% fine.
Okay. And all right, I think that's most of our question. I think I actually got every single question. Usually I'm like, oh, sorry, people I missed, but I think we got everybody.
Awesome
So
people.
I see one. I am okay with raw foods diet. I clouding the juice, salads, fruit smoothies, but that one, it doesn't make sense. But we got we got them all. That was really great. Your answers were just fire. They were amazing. If you feel like there's anything else you want to share, any inspiration or anything you're going through, any wisdom you've learned recently, anything that comes to mind, then definitely do so and let everybody know where they can find you. And I'll link your group down below. And I think there's 75% off, right? It's a really low price. It's cheap. I'll link it down below and I'll link all your stuff down below. And yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Gillian. I hope this video was helpful. I hope we shared some powerful information. Every single person who wants to embark on a raw vegan diet and experience the benefits that Gillian and I are talking about and be an example of the true health that is possible for you needs a couple key factors in place on lock. It's not optional. One is support. You need a support system. Raw Vegan Heroes is the support system there for you. Gillian said there's a link in the description below. It's awesome. And it is cheap. Raw Vegan Heroes is 75% off for the year. And it's my life's work to make this affordable for every living soul on this planet. So people do not have to have a limitation there. Get the support. Number one, also, you need to have a little self-respect and a little discipline and do that proper goal setting. Like I said, one goal at a time. And you do that by implementing with a support group. So you can implement proper goal setting when you have the right coaching. Also, delayed gratification. You can't go raw today and hope you feel better tomorrow. It takes time. You have to have a vision for your life, and you are going to have to cultivate that vision. It's not optional. You have to cultivate a vision to be raw vegan, and you can't let the naysayers in. So getting support is the way you start all of that. And if you join Raw Vegan Heroes, you get my coaching and my discipline and my reminders of all these beautiful principles of life every single day. I'm there to support all the members. And to find Raw Vegan Heroes, there's the link in the description below, but also my website, 𝒔𝒂𝒗𝒆.com. The membership tab there, you can learn about me and what I do and all my coaching services, but then also on social media, my Instagram, Raw Vegan Rising, and my YouTube, Raw Vegan Rising. I have lots of helpful videos on YouTube. So follow me there and you will learn a lot. And like I said, education is one of the important factors. You cannot be a successful raw vegan without proper education. You got to go into the journey, go into the world of being raw vegan and learn and immerse yourself in it. So that will make everyone successful.
Amazing. And if you were to tell people 3 books they can go buy or download right now that will change their life, what would you suggest?
Ooh. Well, it's interesting. My favorite top books aren't even raw vegan books.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we're keeping it raw vegan, I would say
Or
The Fourth
any, like
Turning.
it doesn't have to be raw, you know?
Okay, The Fourth Turning by Neil Howe is one of the most profound books I've ever read. It changed my life.
Okay.
The Fourth Turning is about the seculum and the turning of the generations. It is profound. It is so profound. It changed my paradigm, and I've never been the same since. It shifted everything for me. That book is incredible. It's a game changer. The Fourth Turning. Also, I love empowerment books like Think and Grow Rich. Actually, okay, Robert Kiyosaki's financial empowerment works like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that's a no-brainer. You got to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If for somebody
I've
who
never
hasn't
read that.
oh
And
yeah, it's a
not
must.
just for dads, right? Like, would it be a good read for me too? I've never read this book, but I've heard
Oh
a lot
yeah,
about it. Yeah.
it's archetypal financial empowerment information,
Okay.
and it's really critical. I've read every Robert Kiyosaki book, and that one's his first one, his most popular one. So start there. It's great. And the other book, maybe, I like A Course in Miracles.
Oh,
Might
it's
be
so good. I feel like
yeah.
I had to get, like, I think there was a revised version or somebody that made a book explaining it because I found it a little bit difficult, like the
It's
actual
dense.
original Course in Miracles.
It's dense,
It
yes.
was intense for me. I mean, it probably
So
come to you like this, but
no, I've spent time with it. It's dense. It depends on where you're at. Some people might say, oh, that's new age BS. I don't have anything to do with that. But it really is a nice breakdown of the way that the egoic mind runs the show here on planet Earth. And if we can understand the difference between spirit and ego, hey, it's a little boost. But
yeah.
you know what my real official recommendation would be? The Essene Gospel of Peace. So that would be The Fourth Turning, a little bit of financial empowerment with Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the Essene Gospel of Peace. Man, those 3 books, yeah, those are my 3 for sure. The Essene Gospel of Peace is what inspired me to go raw vegan.
I got to read these books. Okay. Well, thanks for coming on. This was really fun. We have to do these Q&As more often. My guests my viewers not my guests, my viewers. I feel like you guys are my guests, the audience. You guys are amazing, but they have great questions. So, and you're always just an honor to have on and a great friend. And it was so nice meeting you when we were in LA.
We
It was
finally got to
fun.
meet in LA.
Yeah,
So
that was
awesome,
so
Gillian.
fun. I'll have to come to
Yeah.
Texas too. I want to make it out to Texas next year sometime. So we'll have to meet up.
Austin is a great town. I love Austin.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you're happy there. Oh, and okay, one more thing. In our LA video, you talked about how you met this person who does readings where they tell you based on your birthday and all these other things, right? Where you should live according to love, money, all these things. So that's why you moved where you moved, right?
Yeah.
And that was obviously a success because you're engaged, you're super happy, your finances are great, everything's going well. So, what was the name of that person again? Do you remember their name or website? Because a lot of people ask, and that person what you enjoyed that reading, right?
I was referred to Jade Luna. He goes by Jade Luna. And he was referred to me by one of my entrepreneurial colleagues, very successful, because as entrepreneurs, we all kind of have a circle together where we give information, share information that empowers our businesses, our entrepreneurial journeys, our service businesses. We're all coaches. I'm connected with a lot of coaches. So he came up in one of my circles of friends, and they were like saying, you gotta get a reading by this guy, a location reading. And I didn't really know much about it, but I said, I'll give it a shot, $200, got a reading. And Austin came up as the highest score possible for money. He scores on love, money, health, social, home, and I think that love, money, health, social, home, and maybe one other, but he gives you a score of 1 to 10 in those categories. My money in Austin was as high as it gets. And I was like, what? I want to live where my money's good. Who doesn't? But my love was also very high. Like it was like a 9 money and an 8 love. And he says he never gives 10s. He says it just doesn't exist. So 9, as he said, it was as high as you could ever hope for. And I said, and then it was like a year later, I was thinking, where should I move? I wanted to get out of California after COVID. It was just a kind of oppressive environment. I was like, I should move. I want to relocate. And the money and love popped into my head. 9 money, 8 love. I was like, I'm going there. And so
and look what happened.
It's been incredible. Wow. My business has exploded since being in Austin because I'm more committed to providing better service to people than ever before. I mean, that's really, Raw Vegan Heroes provides an incredible service, 2,600 members currently, a thriving community, so much bigger.
I can't believe you have that many members. I remember, okay, I don't know if it was when you started, but I remember in 2019, 2019 or 2020, watching you, and I remember I think you had 6,000 subscribers, and I think you just started your group. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, the early 2020. I think that's when you joined Raw Vegan Heroes.
Yeah. So, and to think like, like I wasn't even on YouTube when I joined your group. I watched you on YouTube, and I was like, oh, I want to join this group. And yeah, it's just crazy. Look how much it's grown, right? It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving to, I think Austin is a great backdrop for a raw vegan too, because there's a contrast, so I don't know, whatever it is, it works. And I met the love of my life, and we are happy together here in Austin. And she's from Texas. She was born 4 hours from here. So that's cool.
Does she want kids? Do you think you'll have more kids? Or no. If you don't want to answer, it's okay.
Yeah, that is a personal question, but yeah, she doesn't want to have kids. And I think that that's an alignment with my own vision as well. I actually was hoping I'd meet a partner who didn't have kids or didn't want kids. And that's her exactly, because I already have.
Because you have kids.
Yeah. So I don't need to do that again. Yeah, that was really perfect. Really, really perfect.
Okay, and just one more thing. Okay, so this guy, I'm going to contact him. I'm going to see if he'll give me a reading. So he does the readings based on your like astrological charts. Is that what it is? Or is it like personality charts?
Astrocartography. It's based on your birth chart. Yep. So you give him your birth information. You give him 10 cities you want him to read, or locations on the earth. He'll give you a score of how your life will be in that location. And this is what high-level entrepreneurs do, though. They will relocate their lives to get better in alignment with soul destiny. Yeah. In fact, Steven Spielberg hires Jade Luna to scout locations to make movies. Wow. So people who are very high level, Jade told me this, very high level, will hire astrocartographers to create scores on locations for even filming movies, because he wants his movie to be successful, and it might make or break a scene or the movie itself, depending on where we are. So we do want to relocate to a powerful location for our highest destiny.
And is it really expensive? This guy, is he really expensive?
No, it was $200 for a reading.
Okay, I can't wait. I gotta find this guy. I can email him tomorrow. I'm gonna see if he'll do a reading on the channel. That's so good.
His website is AstarianAstrology.com.
Okay. Amazing. That's good. So hopefully that helps some of you guys, because I know people had a lot of questions with that when we were in LA and we talked about that. So there's still always so much to talk about. I'm sure the next video, like you're a regular on the channel, we're going to have so much more amazing stuff to talk about then. And it's just, and again, congratulations on the engagement. I love to see how your life is unfolding. It's amazing. And how you just offer so much service and value to us. And thanks again for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Gillian. So much love and blessings to you and everybody watching and listening. In
Yeah.
the
And so
next
you
one, I'll
guys,
see
I
you.
hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it added value. If it did, give a big thumbs up, subscribe if you guys don't already, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.